Hello, it's Bonnie Southgate, EDS Rehab here, exercise a day. So we are looking at rotation again, rotation of the thorax. We often get super stiff on our ribs and we can pop ribs and things like that when everything isn't moving well. So I personally love a side lying exercise for the ribs. Not everybody can lie on those sides because of hips being uncomfortable. So you have options. We have other videos for rotating the thorax, but also maybe just cushioning up under your waist and your hips will do the trick. You need to make sure that you always have enough height of cushioning so that your neck is not compromised. You never want that head and neck hanging. And I would always recommend somebody have something for in between their legs to keep their knees in line with their hip roughly as much as they can. So getting comfortable lying on your side, making sure that underneath shoulder is nice and comfortable, which is why you need enough height here not to put too much pressure on that underneath arm. Come back so you can see me a little bit. And we're just going to start with a little, so this is a kind of a version of the open book that is taught in Pilates, only I keep the lever going back a little bit shorter to begin with. And so we're just going to start by reaching that arm forward, and I want you to think that your shoulder blade takes your arm. So you reach there and you allow the ribs to rotate just to where you're comfortable and come back. And again, you're going to reach the shoulder blade, which is going to take the ribs and the arm. Ooh, we have a visitor. And come back, and hello there, and reach. Angel is coming to help us today. Little reach. And coming back. Now we're going to take our hand on our shoulder, on our chest. And the important thing is when I start to go back, now I have two options with my shoulder. I can either let it rotate forward, which is not a particularly safe position, and then it's not letting my ribs rotate. Or I can make sure that shoulder is dropped back. So if you put this finger here, you go drop it back. I'm lifting that elbow, but that's dropped into the socket. Now I need to think, if you take your hand under your armpit there, am I holding my shoulder blade? Again, it will limit the rotation a little bit. So I want you to think of relaxing all the muscles under your armpits, and then you're going to rotate to look behind you, and you only go to where your ribs are 100% comfortable, and come all the way back. And you're going to reach forward from the back of the shoulder blade and coming back. And you're going to take your hand in your chest, drop that shoulder into the socket, and you're going to rotate to look behind you. And coming back. Only take this into a range where you don't feel any discomfort through the rib cage, and come back, hand on your chest. Let that shoulder drop into the socket as you roll to look behind you. And coming back, I'm going to change to the other side. And so taking my cushions the other way around, lying down. If you're somebody whose ribs pop out, you might want to try one of the sitting rotations first, or one of the other ones, and make sure you feel comfortable. And we're going to lie here. You're going to take your two hands forward, nicely stacked up so everything's level. And I'm going to reach for my shoulder blade forward. And come back. So a little note, sometimes people set their legs back here. So I know sometimes in Pilates classes they have the spine and the feet lined up on the back of the mat. With hypermobiles, we have a tendency to overarch our lower back, so I actually prefer to bend the knees up to a right angle so that I take all of the pressure off my lower back before I start this. So I'm going to reach forward and come back. Take my hand here, and I'm going to let my shoulder drop into the socket, and I'm going to rotate, letting those ribs rotate around and come back. Now, sometimes when you lie on your side, your ribs generally sink to the floor. So I'm curved in the top, and I'm lengthened in the bottom. When you reach forward, your ribs really want to lift up a bit as you go forward. So it's better if you think about taking the weight off the bottom ribs as you reach forward and you come back. Now you can let your ribs relax as you rotate to look behind you. And this works with the way that the ribs move. So when we move our ribs, they don't just do that, they do that. So as I reach forward, my ribs want to do that. And as I reach back, my rib wants to do that. So as I reach forward, it does that. And as I reach back, it does that. So you can think about that as you're doing these rotational exercises. So as I reach, my rib is doing that. And as I reach back, it's doing that. You can even make the movement with your arm a little bit like the rib would move and coming back. And that's going to help you with your subluxations of the ribs if you start to get those ribs moving with the spine in the direction that they need to go. So that is sideline rotations. I hope you enjoyed that. And hopefully it loosened those ribs off a little bit. So this is an exercise a day from EDS Rehab. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, let me know, ask me questions, and have a great day.